What were your thoughts on Travis Kelce hip checked Andy Reid almost to the turf like he was getting slimed on CBS Sports HQ?
Jesus, I mean, I feel Big Red's pain in the back and the lower back. I would say that it felt like the Chiefs, having turned it on for 3 playoff games offensively, suddenly forgot what they were doing. And Tony Romo did a great job of explaining this on the CBS Sports broadcast, that Steve Wilks was disguising things on the back end and really confused. And like Wilks was under fire coming to this game, and he confused Patrick Mahomes with the looks he was getting. Kelce was not a factor. The Chiefs' offense was dreadful. This game started as one of the worst Super Bowls you will ever see. And it looked like it was like, well, at least it's close, even though it's 0-0 at the end. Like, was it 0-0 at the end of the first quarter? I mean,
yeah. Well, the 10th scoreless first quarter in Super Bowl history.
Right. Like, that's insane. And it was one of those where you're like, well, thank God it's not 15-0 or 20-0. People will be turning it off. They're still for CBS Sports purposes. And it's low scoring. The Chiefs' offense was completely lost. But to me, it felt like Wilson on those early drives, and Romo pointed this out, the 49ers could have been up, I don't know, go as high as you want, like 17-0.
I'll go as high as 10.
Right, like 10, 14, 17, something like that. And if they had, maybe they put the game away. But like every time you keep Patrick Mahomes in a game like that, the Pacheco, the McCaffrey fumbles were totally like out of nowhere. But it felt like this game, the more that it got constricted and closed in, was going to come down to, are you going to give Patrick Mahomes a chance to drive the ball down the field and beat you?
So, Breach, they didn't score on their first possession for the first time in 8 postseason possessions to start the game. That was something different. And to Brenson's point, the team struggled, and I thought Steve Wilks had some answers because Chase Young and Nick Bosa were giving those tackles problems all day. You have any thoughts on the Kelce bump to Andy Reid, who looked like he wasn't prepared for it? Kelce was pissed because he wasn't in the game because Noah Gray sort of missed a block that led to the Pacheco fumble. There you see now if you're watching on YouTube. I mean, if I yelled at you like that, Breach or Brinson, I feel like it wouldn't have ended as nicely as this did.
Well, I would have
yeah.
Oh, Brinson, you would headbutt.
No, I was just thinking, like, if I yelled at Wilson like this, because I look more like Kelce, I think, and you look more like Andy Reid. You're older too. If I yelled at you like that, you would like smack me on the head with some kind of ancient artifact that you own at your house.
By the way, Kelce was asked about this. Excuse me. He said, "I'm going to keep it between us. I was just telling him how much I love him." So he's a very vocal.
Well, I mean, the one thing I'll say is that there's literally 2 people on this team who can yell at Andy Reid like that. It's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. If anybody else does this, I'm pretty sure Andy Reid leaves them in the locker room at halftime and says, "Hey, why don't you go sit next to Kadarius Toney? Because that's where we're going to be spending the rest of the game." And look, the thing is, what happened is you look at what Travis Kelce did in the first half. He had 1 catch for 1 yard. And I'm sure this all played into it. And I'm sure he went into halftime and he said, "Can we just get me the ball? I can get open." And Andy's like, "Well, we don't know because you don't run routes. You just do whatever you want." And Patrick's is getting pressured, so he doesn't have time to figure out what you're trying to do. And boom, what did they do? They figured things out, and he went 8 catches for 92 yards in the second half. And I think the other funny part of this is that literally, I'm not even kidding, 3 minutes after this happened is when they showed Taylor Swift on the Jumbotron at the game, just shotgunning a beer or chugging a beer or whatever. And it was like the camera operator panned down, saw the Kelce Reid stuff, and then saw Taylor grab a beer because she was totally on edge the whole game. I mean, she is a fantastic football fan. She saw her boyfriend yelling at the coach. She's like, "Oh my God, someone get me a beer. I need to chug it." And then the camera turned to her, and she chugged that. I mean, it was the whole Swift Kelce clan took over that 5 minutes of the game.